It's a beautiful morning here in Coral Gables, Florida, and we are at the second Moda Miami event. And this morning we are doing one of the coolest things that happens around Moda, and that is the Moda Classic Rally. And I'm not going to be driving the Bugatti this morning. I'm going to be driving something that I think has an even better story, and it is that, a 1997 E-Class. Of course, this is a W210 Mercedes E-Class. By VIN, it is an E420, but it is $150,000 of options and modifications, all done when new by Mercedes beyond the normal $60,000 car. And it was built in 96, 97 for who I'm going to say is probably the most famous comedian of that day. He was making about $1 million a week back then, and there are some clues on the car that might imply whose car it was. But the story about how the car came to be, it was given to him sort of as a short-term lease as compensation for making some commercials about the, at the time, newly released C-Class and ML. And it has everything that you could do to an E-Class, from Diseño, the special design options from Mercedes, plus AMG, because this was after the AMG Mercedes merger began in 1993, kind of became fully complete in 96, 97, 98. But it is such a cool car. It's got this gray and blueberry leather interior, special walnut dash, and of course, then it went to Renntech, and that is where it became an E60. Now, this is sort of, at the time, the best modern AMG Hammer that you could do, because it has this 4-cam, 440 horsepower, fully built, naturally aspirated V8 engine, would go 325 kilometers an hour. So cool. They widened the wheel arches. They obviously did the suspension. The wheels, though, and the floor mats and other touches are from AMG. And so there's a lot of overlap but in the history of Renntech and the history of AMG and Hartman and everybody that works there. And it's so cool to see this really as the whole Captain Planet of the Mercedes world coming together to make a very special car. Now, the history of the car is shrouded in some really crazy rumors about the EPA getting mad and seizing it and sending it to Mexico, and then an attempted sale that didn't work out, and a failed re-registration. All of these, maybe they happened, maybe they didn't. They make for some really cool stories. But today, we are going to drive it on a rally down to the Keys from Moda, and I don't know, it doesn't get any better than that. We're going to have a blast. Come along for a ride. We are on the turnpike, totally shut down, police escorted in a very special Mercedes, in a convoy of even more special Mercedes, with a Sterling Moss SLR and an R129 braking aggressively, some priceless cars behind us, in the Moda Classic Rally. And I have to say, you know, for a car like this that was really so many different people having their hands on it, it has become a truly OEM fit and finish, wonderfully put together automobile. Of course, in a police escorted rally, we're not able to fully experience all of its performance and things like that. But in terms of the way that the suspension is working and the way the engine sounds and the way it idles, the way it drives, it is as well built and perfectly a Mercedes car as you would want out of a 90s car, and I am absolutely loving it. So we're right behind an R129 SL500 Silver Arrow car, such a spectacular car. In fact, my father actually had an earlier 129 SL500, and I loved that car. It was kind of my first, really cool car that I got to spend any meaningful amount of time in. And that car, along with this car, are currently maintained by the Mercedes-Benz Classics Center. They also maintain a lot of 300 SLs, and so if you've got a significant Mercedes, they can actually do that. And for the manufacturers, as they try to kind of bridge the gap between their history and the significant cars that they've built in the past, and obviously integrating them into the events and the opportunities and things that come with the more modern cars and the press fleet and things like that, that's where this car comes into play. It represents such a great moment of Mercedes history, and they're the right caretakers and curators of that car's legacy. And so they make it available for drives like this, for media events and shows and all the other things, where it belongs. I mean, this is a car that would certainly be the highlight of anyone's collection of significant Mercedes, but beyond that, they're able to make sure that so many more people get exposure to the cars, and they do that with so many other amazing Mercedes cars, like the C111 that we use for Car Trek, and other cars that really get out, they get seen, they get driven, and that's what they need. This car would not do well, like no car does well, if it were just to sit somewhere and be driven twice a year to special events and shows. The fact that it's out, the fact that it's maintained, the fact that it's kept up is what makes the car actually usable in this kind of context. But when you think about this car, this was such a awesome time in the life cycle of Mercedes-Benz as a brand. This was in the wake of their acquisition or merger with AMG that began to give us the 43 motor cars, the 55 motor cars. But in this case, they wanted to build truly a hammer on the W210 platform. And I think they did such a magnificent job in, again, achieving this kind of sleeper build amazing car. So this would have started out, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 for an E420, and then they put over $150,000 worth of modifications, including $80,000 through Renntech. And so it's got the Renntech gauges and everything else. And I mean, with new heads, obviously cams fully building the motor without any power adders. It's not supercharged, it's not turbocharged. And this thing, 440 horsepower, is no joke. And when you really put your foot into it, it's all there. And that you're just, again, in what most people now would look at as a few $1,000 E-Class with this amazing secret in it. And that's always been the coolest thing about Mercedes that makes them the perfect cannonball cars, that it's a car that can pass you on the highway and not make you upset regardless of how fast you might be driving it. But it's such a special, special thing when you understand what's under the hood, what's in the suspension, and what's making this car so brutally powerful and impressive. And in a caravan of amazing silver Mercedes, I think we've got the one with the best story. So we spent the day in the Renntech E60 on the road, and now we are on the track at the Concours Club with Mercedes-Benz Classic Center. We're gonna take it around. We got some other fun cars here, but we're gonna start out, see the track, and enjoy some more time in the W210.
It has a weak fuel pump. If that happens, just put your on. Not so much, but you got the idea.
He's already in love with the car. Don't encourage him.
There's no thing to move the darn steering wheel.
It's crazy to believe that this is a 30-year-old car, give or take, and it is still so tight, so composed, so lovely to be in. I gotta say, I mean, for what it is, as that newer interpretation of what a Hammer would be, which is obviously a 300 CE, built by AMG with a 6-liter 4-cam V8, this is that in a W210 form, built for somebody very funny and very well loved, more so in the Porsche community than the Mercedes community, but a great automotive ambassador and somebody well deserving of this as the way that Mercedes packaged it for them to sort of own. Now, I don't know if it was ever actually sent to Mexico by the EPA or run out of the country, but I can say that now that it's old enough that it doesn't matter, it is beyond cool to be able to mess with it here. 440 horsepower, naturally aspirated, non-supercharged, entirely different experience with what Renntech did than what AMG did with the 43 motors and the 55 motors, which were already designed to be a little bit more mass market friendly. This thing is designed to be for somebody who wants to bring it out here and is buying it instead of a Ferrari 355 or a 550 Maranello. And I gotta say, as cool as those cars are, this fits in well in that company. And that's a wrap with the Renntech E60. What a special car and a great celebration of all things Mercedes here at the Concours Club in Miami this weekend alongside Moda. Thank you to Mercedes Classic Center for letting us play with the cars. It's been a night I will absolutely never forget. I'd like to thank Auto Tempest for supporting this video and making it so easy to find, even impossible to find cars like a Renntech E60. Their advanced search lets you drill down into the granularity of the ways cars are listed across the entire internet and comb all the major sites to get all the results in one place. Autotempest.com, all the cars, one search.